Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I want to show you how I built a super simple double-decker barnwood table, so check this out. Alright, so here's a pile of old barnwood and pallet scraps that I'm going to use to build this super simple table. So over here I have some 9-inch wide planks of old barnwood, and I can get a max of 42 inches out of them, so these are going to make up the tabletop. I'll join them and it'll be about 42 inches long. Okay, the bottom part of the table, the little shelf, will be made out of this piece of barn rafter right here. It's 6 inches wide. I'm actually going to double it, so I'm going to have two of them next to each other. It'll be 12 inches wide. And then actually in between those two pieces, kind of like you see here, except it'll be this wood right there, I'm going to have this little skinny piece of old shipping pallets. Like, it has like a little gouge routed in it. I think they used to use it for strapping when they'd get like a big shipment of 2x4s at a store or whatever. Anyway, I found a bunch of these on the side of the road, so I picked them up. Alright, so that'll be in between, just to add a little width to the double of these at 6 inches, okay? Then this right here, I think used to be an old piece of handrail. It's just a 2x4. It actually has kind of like a slope cut on one side. It's kind of cool. So I'll kind of face that out, and that will be my little side panels that join the top and the bottom. Okay, so like I said, this I can get a max of 42 inches out of it once I cut the really rough edges off of it, okay? So it'll be 42 inches wide, and then there's two, they're 9 inches wide, so it's going to be 18 total. I'll join it with my Craig jig and some glue. And then the bottom panel is going to be a little narrower. It'll be roughly 14 inches wide, maybe just a smidge wider than that. So the bottom will kind of sink in just a little bit, and then I'll join them with these. So it'll be a really super simple build. I'll try to keep it as basic as possible. And then I'll throw on some short little hairpin legs I have left over from a little kid's table set that I bought a while back. So anyway, let me get started on this. Alright, so now that all my boards are cut down, I'll kind of show you what it's going to look like once it's put all together, although it is upside down right now. But basically, like I said earlier, I chopped these to 42 inches long. They're 9 inches wide, so the tabletop will end up being 18 by 42. And then I decided to go ahead and chop the bottom ones here to 36 inches long. And if you remember, these two are 6 inches wide. This was 2 1/4 or something like that. And when I lined them all together to chop my little end pieces here, and it ended up being 14 3/8 wide. So that's how long I cut these little end caps here. And also, can you kind of see the little angle they have cut on them? Just kind of a cool little extra detail, and it'll look pretty cool. So like I said earlier, I was going to join my boards with my Craig jig, drill some pocket holes and use glue, but I think I'm gonna keep it way more simple than that. I think I'm just gonna strictly use glue and screws through the face, just make it a super basic build. So anyway, what I need to do next is go ahead and sand it all, get rid of all the rough edges. It'll tear off all this old gray finish, and everything will have a really nice, rich, kind of reclaimed wood brown color. Should look pretty cool. All right, and it'll look really nice once I clear coat it. So I'll do that, and then I'll show you how I assemble it, which is super easy, and then I'll put on the hairpin legs after that. Alright, so I got all the boards sanded nice and smooth. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead, and I flipped it upside down, and I'm going to join the bottom boards to little side pieces. So what I'll do is I'll take off the board, I'll add a little strip of glue on there, then I'll take my little skinny drill bit and I'll pre-drill 2 pilot holes, and then I'll drive in my screws. And the pilot holes are just to keep it from splitting, because the wood's already kind of split. I don't want to cause any more damage. Alright, so basically I'm going to join all 3 boards onto these side panels and make it one solid unit. And I won't add the top on just yet. I'm actually going to keep it separate so that I can easily add clear coat to everything. Then once that clear coat has dried, then I'll flip it upside down, and I can actually screw down the top and finish it out. So anyway, let me go ahead and get this going. Alright, Alright, so now that all of my bottom pieces are glued and screwed together, I took them off of my little work table here and I threw on my coffee tabletop pieces upside down. I laid these back on top. I centered them to make sure they were exactly where I wanted to be, and then I laid some tape around the corners and the edges, that way I can line it up. So now what I can do is move it out of the way and go ahead and pre-drill a couple of holes, probably 2 per board, to go all the way through here. Then I can flip it upside down again, line it up, and then run my drill through those holes to kind of pre-drill into here a little bit. Then I'll take it apart and get it ready for clear coats. Alright, so I got all those holes pre-drilled in the tabletop pieces and in the little side panels here on top. So I flipped it back upside down. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple of coats of clear coat, and in between coats I'll sand the sanding sponge just to help kind of smooth it out a little bit so there's no splinters or anything like that. Once I get that done, then I will bring out my table legs, and right now they're powder coated pink because I pulled them off a kid's table, and I'm just going to paint them. I'm not exactly sure what color I'm going to do just yet, and then I will mount them on the bottom and assemble the table and show you what it looks like when it's all finished. Alright, and there it is all finished. Turned out pretty awesome. It's almost like stacking blocks, just a super simple design. A couple of screws. I did glue the side support here to the bottoms, but I did not glue it to the top. I just screwed the top in. That way, I don't know, if someone wanted to remove it for some reason, or if the table does want to move a little bit, maybe it will have a little give in it with the screws than having screws and glue. And then, of course, you have the little shelf there for storage, which is pretty cool. And then I decided when I painted my legs to do 3 of them silver and 1 of them in graffiti, like a stanky leg. And I just thought that'd be kind of an interesting idea to check out. But just look at the texture on that wood. I mean, this whole edge here was all chipped out, so I just sanded it down. All the really cool cracking and checking. It's turned out pretty awesome. So there you go. That's a super, super basic build. Just stack a couple of boards together, screw them together, do something a little interesting with the legs, and it turns out pretty cool.